only have one viewer.
I tagged you in the video. What's up, George?
What's up?
How's it going?
Oh. All right.
Who just
You
left?
late, man. What's up with you? You only got 40 minutes left. Huh?
How's it going, man? What's up, George?
What's up?
How's it going, man?
What's up? Nothing much, man.
How you been? How's the gym doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah, busy this week?
Busy, always busy.
Always busy? Even though you didn't take a 3-day weekend?
I took a fourth of the day.
One fourth of a day?
I worked for 3 hours yesterday.
Oh man.
Come on, man. I didn't follow the routine of I forgot it was what's it called? Memorial Day weekend?
Yeah, Memorial Day weekend.
I totally forgot it was Memorial Day weekend, so like, oh.
You've been hitting the head one too many times, George?
Nah, I just don't follow the weekend. It's not like back in high school when they tell you know, when you're back in high school, they have the days
yeah.
I don't have that now. If somebody doesn't tell me, people just tell me like at the last minute, so you open Monday? Jumper. So you open Monday? I'm like, yeah, I'm open Monday. Oh, because it's Memorial Day weekend. I'm like, damn it. So I'm like,
never mind, I'm not open Monday.
So,
but it was a long weekend, but we had a major fight this weekend. It was under a lot of people's radar, but for the boxing fans that we were excited for this one.
Yeah, Spence and Brook.
Spence he was on the U.S. Olympic team, right?
Yes, they've had a lot of high.
Spence has been undefeated. He was at what, like 18 wins or something like that?
Yeah, he was undefeated.
He's undefeated. Yeah, he's been making some noise, but he made major noise this weekend.
Yeah, he made because he just went across the pond and
he crossed the pond and
beat Spence and Brook.
Kel Brook, a true champion.
Well, I think it was already. He was kind of someone of damaged goods.
He was
because after the
GGG fight,
Triple G fight, I think that was going to be a major factor how he was going to react.
Yeah, it's tough to come.
Tough fight because you got to understand, he went from one one tough fight, two weight divisions up to another tough fight that I heard that his promoter was telling him to go down to 154. That he didn't want to do that. He wanted to stay he wanted to defend his title at 147, and maybe that could have been another thing that could have affected him. I know people are criticizing him for taking the knee, but he had the other side of his orbital bone broken. So
yeah, you saw it in the 11th round. He was pawing at his eye.
Yeah, so
he said that he used blurred vision. I guess he learned from the fight against GGG that once he couldn't really see too well, that he should just live to fight another day.
I know we all are very critical. I know I've criticized fighters for going down or taking a knee or quit out on the stool, but you never know. I remember Israel Vasquez. I was somewhat sparring with him when he fought the first Rafael Marquez fight. They had like a 4-war trilogy. And he quit on the first fight because he couldn't breathe from his nose. But unfortunately, he told me this that when he fought a certain fight against Yoni Perez, he had his nose broken in that fight. He won the fight. He was losing the fight, but he knocked out Yoni Perez. So he didn't go to the doctor or got checked. So he actually didn't go to the doctor and get checked or get his nose checked. So he just went with it. And then he had the tough fight with Rafael Marquez, and then.
So it was damaged goods that he never took care of.
And then he took another tough fight.
Yeah, I always heard that boxers go into fight. They're always hurt when they go into fights, and some more than others. Some nagging injuries. Brook had that nagging injury. Luckily, it wasn't the same side of the face.
That was a very hard thing that he had the other side of his.
Yeah, luckily it wasn't. Luckily it wasn't the same injury, but unfortunately it was the other side of his face. So hopefully he's not, permanently damaged. It's tough. At the end of it,
that's going to be something that he's going to really I'm not gonna say that he's done as a fighter. It's just something that he really needs to let rest up and really take care of it. Because the thing is,
yeah, because if he comes back too soon, I mean, we look at fighters like Gabe Rosado, who
constantly
cut, and he constantly wants to fight, but he doesn't rest. He doesn't let his skin heal.
Yeah,
so he's always he's
and
always
at the end of
damaged.
all, like guys like Gabe Rosado and a lot of fighters like Frank Bruno years ago fought Mike Tyson. He had his big old gash right across, and he had to retire because they say if he kept on fighting, he could have probably lost his eye. So major surgery in those part of the.
So let's talk about the fight itself. What impressed you about Spence?
Just that he went there for a fight. It was a very competitive fight. It was an equal fight. It's just.
I think Spence caught his groove.
Yeah, he got his groove.
Around the sixth round.
Spence got a little reckless from time to time.
Would you attribute that to like maybe ring rust or anything like that? He had a 9-month layoff.
That could probably be it, or another level of opposition, and then because Brook really has fought the better opposition.
Well, Brook is a legitimate fighter.
Yeah,
he's a legitimate boxer. He's a legitimate champion. Well, was.
And the other thing, he fought across. He
went to his territory.
So that also has a personal thing that could take a little effect because you remember this: they're cheering for their home champion. That's another thing that could, psychologically, a lot of fighters break when you fight them in their hometown. But
because any big hit, you hear the crowd just going crazy,
roar, and that's the thing that sometimes gives the fighter a little bit more of an edge. The home fighter, hometown fighter. So it gives them an upper edge. But at the same time, Spence came in victorious. That I wasn't been taking a big effect on her.
Yeah, he was very poised. He worked the jab really extremely well. I feel like around the 6th round, he started feeling his groove. I think he caught rhythm. He figured out Brook's game plan. He stayed away from the lead right. He came in with jab, worked the body, and came out. He jabbed and then he slipped out, and then I think that was because at first, the beginning, like the first few rounds, Brook was counter jabbing him, coming over the top.
He was a little quicker. He was a little quicker on his feet, a little bit quicker on the counters, on the attacks. But Spence started adjusting. But like I've always said, they always had high hopes for Spence. They've always been talking about Spence. Right now, people are talking about him maybe fighting Thurman. But that'll be another very interesting fight that could probably.
Yeah, Thurman said he wants him. He said, on Twitter he congratulated him, and then he said, "But you got to go through me next." But Thurman's on layoff right now with that elbow injury.
Yeah, elbow injury. Yes. So that's gonna be a fight that we have to wait and see. Spence may have to take. May need to get a couple other fights that may get another fight before he really.
Yeah,
before Thurman comes back, fights him, or they make the fight happen.
There was another fight a couple weeks ago. It was Terrence Crawford.
Yes,
and
very spectacular.
Wow, that's all I can say about Terrence Crawford. Each time I see him, it's a show.
And one thing
there's no one that puts on a show like he does these days.
I think he's gonna be one of the best. He's gonna be in the top. He's gonna be in the top 15, top 10 for me to be, next pound for pound. And he just makes everything look so easy. He actually toyed with his opponent. I think when he was toying with him, I think he didn't really want to hurt him, but at the same time, Diaz didn't really have nothing really on his arsenal. He really didn't have nothing.
Yeah, he was at the end of it. He was just trying to he was swinging for the fences.
Yeah,
trying to catch. And I think he caught him with one, and then Crawford punished his ass.
Yeah, he did. It was just too easy. At the end of it all, he was just too dominant. He had a whole simple game. Keep him at the edge of his feet, at the edge of his jab. He actually came left-handed. Kept him in control, kept him on the edge of his jab and his distance, and kept on picking him apart. He basically was picking him apart, and he didn't let Felix get him into his groove. Didn't let him get into any momentum. He was on top of it every single time. So
yeah, he does that a lot, switching stance a lot. Huh?
You know, a lot of you fighters could pull that switch.
Yeah, I was about to ask, is that like something that you would recommend? Or?
You gotta be a very experienced fighter to get away, and a lot of training. You gotta be taught. You really gotta be taught. You really gotta start really working on it for years and years and years, and testing it out as an amateur, and then maybe as a pro. But you know, just to pull out like he did, you know, he was just.
Yeah, he goes in and out of it. There's a few fights that I've seen him do it.
Yeah,
like he just goes in and out of it like nothing.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know, man. Terrence Crawford is the real deal. That guy is something special.
And he's calling everybody out.
Yeah, he's not scared of anybody.
He's calling out Thurman, Garcia. He called out Spence. He called out Pacquiao. He wants them all.
He wants everybody.
So he's willing to fight anybody from 140 to 147.
T-Bud against Pacquiao, man. Who wins?
I'm gonna have to go with T-Bud. You know, I think he does. Pacquiao's fighting some unknown fighter from Australia.
What about Pacquiao at his prime against this T-Bud? I know we shouldn't compare fighters like that, but
I don't want to. You know,
I want to test you.
I think, I would have gave Crawford a little edge then with a back in his prime. But remember this, Pacquiao in his heyday, in his best day, he was 130, 35, 40. That was maybe the best of Pacquiao. You know, you saw him at 122, 26, 130. But I think, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. You know, Pacquiao really didn't really fight any fighter that really had the real game plan. There were a lot of fighters that he fought were very stationary, very coming to you, coming at him type of fighters, and that was basically the best. That's what made Pacquiao really shine. That these fighters made him look great. You know, you never saw him fight a Lamont Peterson. You never saw Pacquiao fight who was another slick boxer that was not besides Floyd Mayweather. He was just a lot of fighters. Juan Guzman. He avoided Humberto Soto, I probably would have picked Crawford if Pacquiao was around his prime around that time.
Speaking of Pacquiao, our friend Richard Mata says that Marquez is coming. Marquez, you know, who will be forever linked to Pacquiao. Marquez is coming back. He's fighting an Irish fighter, so we should be on the lookout for that.
But of course he's going to fight somebody. No disrespect to Marquez. He hasn't been active since I think the Timothy Bradley fight. I think that was the last time he fought.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple of years over.
It's been a few years.
So
maybe he's just looking for a paycheck. I mean,
so it's a good payday for Marquez, and being a legend like Marquez, he's going to take the money. He's going to take the fight if it makes sense.
Right.
So that's probably the reason why Pacquiao's fighting overseas. Because they're trying to make the Amir Khan fight, and that fell out.
Yeah.
And they didn't want him to fight Amir Khan because maybe he wasn't worthy enough, and maybe they offered this fight with Horn in Australia. Maybe it's a better situation. It probably could be a win-win situation because another thing I heard that Pacquiao said he wanted to make $20 million against Crawford. So I don't think Bob Arum wants to pay him that much. And there's another source that I heard that the pro matchmakers thought that Pacquiao was too much for Crawford. And other sources, that's another source I heard. But in my opinion is that they don't want to destroy Pacquiao because he still had so much weight in his. He still has a big following.
A lot of clout. Yeah, he has a lot of clout. He has a big following. He's got all the Philippines behind him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's.
No other fighter has put the Philippines on the map. Pacquiao did. Nobody else. Yeah. So you got to give him that.
Right.
You got to give him that. But at the same time, I don't think Bob Arum wants to tarnish Pacquiao's legacy by putting him with a Crawford or any other tough fight. But there'll be a day that, hey man, you may have to hang them up. Fight these guys, even though you're not at your best, and take the money and then go or call it quits. That's the only thing I can say.
All right, speaking of fights that are coming up, man, we got a big one too in a couple weeks.
Kovalev Ward 2.
June 17th from Las Vegas, Nevada.
It's a very
rematch.
That's a very debatable fight. You know.
Is it debatable? Because the first one was debatable that Ward won.
The first fight was debatable. The first fight was very debatable. I thought when I saw it the first time, when I saw it the first time, I thought Kovalev. But I wasn't really focusing on watching the whole fight clearly. I was just like glancing at it. Then when I sat down by myself, watched the fight and saw it, Ward started getting the momentum. But it's a very hard fight to judge. And what type of boxing you're looking for? If you're looking for the big puncher and the one that keeps on coming, throwing the big shots, you know, people are going to probably go with Kovalev. You see the guy that constantly kept on frustrating, holding on, and making the fight inside and being in the group and making it uncomfortable in doing certain adjustments in the fight. You go to Ward. I thought Ward won but those rounds were very close rounds to call. So I wouldn't be surprised that people that saw the fight would think, hey, this guy won. They think Kovalev won it, and I wouldn't be surprised if people think Ward won it because of this adjustment, certain adjustment that he did during the fight. So it's a hard fight to debate. The first one. You gotta give Ward credit. He's giving them the rematch. He's giving them a chance.
He could have easily ran off and like, hey, I got the title. I'm gonna fight somebody else.
But maybe that's a good money fight for both, especially Ward. And he was inactive for so long, of
contractual issues
with promoters and all that. So it was a very hard adjustment for Ward that he wasn't really being active for so long. In Kovalev's situation, that he's out there, he's really trying to come with a vengeance again. He wants to get what belongs to him. So he feels that they took the title away from him. They gave it to Ward. You know, you can see the expression. You know, Ward looks surprised that he got the win, but at the same time, you know, when you're at that moment, you don't know. You don't know. And the thing is,
how do you see this fight playing out? Or what? Okay, without besides, let's not say playing out.
We just gotta see how Ward.
What adjustments do you think Kovalev will make this time? Do you think he's gonna go out to destroy him? And
I mean, Kovalev needs to keep the jab. Like I said, Kovalev. What I like about Kovalev that he does certain things, certain tricks, certain things that he does. He constantly uses the jab, little movements. He does good things that I do like Kovalev. He just needs to be the puncher and constantly pressuring. And not really pressure by smothering Ward. He needs to keep Ward at distance, at that jab distance, constantly doubling up, tripling up with the jab, and constantly throwing combinations from a distance.
I think that's why he lost the first fight, because I think he just took his foot off the gas.
Yeah, because he was just relying on that big right hand.
Yeah, I think
he needs to put punches together.
Because he started off really hot. He came out strong, working the jab.
He dropped. Ward.
Yeah, he dropped him, and then after that, I think he just felt really comfortable. Ward adjusted, and I think Kovalev felt comfortable.
Any boxing enthusiast and no boxing, they're gonna say Ward adjusted. Ward made it very uncomfortable for Kovalev to get adjusted. Really, Kovalev didn't really do adjustments that much.
That's true.
It wasn't pretty in Ward's side either, the adjustment he did, but he did enough to pull out the win.
What was the adjustment that he made?
That he smothered him. He was in his grill, constantly giving him angles. You know, it was a little on the not on the very secure side that Ward was really in control the whole time, but he was in control most of the time, and enough to basically take the rounds, in my view. Like I said, somebody could debate with me and tell me, oh, he didn't do enough, he got hurt, he was hurt. Yes, he got hurt a few times. But at the same time, you know, who is it going to, if you're going to fight a monster puncher like Kovalev and not get hurt, you know, that separates fighters nowadays. That certain fighters that get hurt and they still doing adjustments. You know, if you know how to overcome adversity, that makes it a great fighter. When people think that fighters don't go through adversity, and all of a sudden they get blown away from a certain fighter, and they say, "Oh, the guy, he wasn't worth shit. He wasn't worth anything. He wasn't nothing." It's because those fighters never have been in certain situations that have never been adjusted, never been put in a test. So it's hard to explain.
That's why I think, you know, big story of the weekend was Spence, but I also think, you know, Brook showed a lot of that character that, you know, he did face the adversity. He had that injury, and he was still, you know, punching. He was still boxing. He was still, you know, giving Spence a hard time. He really showed the heart of a champion.
You know, but the thing is, I know people on social media, you know, social media people are so biased. They're bashing Brook for being a quitter. This and that. You know, we all can debate. I can say the same thing. Yeah, he quit. But at the same time, there'll be some great champions out there that have ruined their career for basically
shortened their career.
There's a fighter named Gerald McLean. He fought this fighter named Nigel Benn from Great Britain. He dropped Nigel Benn like 2 or 3 times, like in the first 2 rounds. I can't recall. I gotta re-see the fight. Then all of a sudden, and McLean was such a drastic puncher. He's now like 90 or 80% deaf, 90%, 80% blind. See, this guy gave his life to make exciting fights. See, it's all over. You know, a lot of people have been posting that message about McLean. See, like I've always said, fighters are very underappreciated. I'm gonna say it on air. I'm there to basically make a living and make a, you know, if I could give you a great spectacular show, but I'm not like the great Bernard Hopkins said, I'm not gonna please the networks to sacrifice myself. You know, they're sacrificing their whole mind, body, and soul to entertain. But some people want to see them just basically shit blood all the time, every fight. When realistically, that's a lot of wear and tear on a person. And then if they don't do that, and then they say he's boring, he's this, he's that, you're never gonna satisfy everybody. What I believe is you just gotta satisfy yourself to win the fights in your manner, not the public, because the public's not fighting for you. Tomorrow, if I was still fighting, take care. For sure. Take care. Like I said, if I was still fighting and I made it to that level, and I gave myself like Arturo Gatti did, and all of a sudden I get knocked out and put on the stretcher, and then for the rest of the life I'm gonna have mental brain damage, or something happens to me that I can't function anymore. You think that's satisfying? You know, of course, we're always going to be the gladiators who put ourselves out there to fight. Me personally, I train fighters. I train kids. You know, I would never want to see a fighter. I know people. I would never want to see my fighter in a Mickey Ward Gotti fight. I never want to see one of my fighters be in a Castillo Corrales fight. I don't want to see one of my fighters go into a Morales Barrera. I would never want to see any of my fighters do that. You know, if it ever comes to that, it's because it's the last resort. But meaning that I will never want to see one of my fighters go into a bloodbath just to say I want to be in those type of fights. If he really wants to do that, then prepare to call your career very short. But at the same time, to sacrifice my being, myself, because you know that's where a lot of fighters go through depression. A lot of fighters go through mental problems, you know, psychological issues. And then they're never helped at the end of their career. The only thing that boxers never have, they don't have that other sports have. They don't have that backing from nobody. So I would never want to see a fighter, one of my fighters, go through that. There are gonna be times that if I ever train fighters at that level, that if they have to, they get went from plan A, plan B, plan D, plan C, plan D, plan F to plan Z. and they fought after fight because they have no choice. Okay, but I don't see. Personally, I don't see no pleasure in fighters going to war. You know, is it fun to watch? Yes, it is. But at the same time, I look at it as me being in their shoes because I fought, and I don't think that's something that I'll be pleased to see. That I'll say to myself, yeah, one of my fighters was in a war. Oh yeah, he was a warrior and he gave it all. I'll say, you know something? He fought great, but I don't want to see my fighter fight like that again. Maybe my fighter needs some rest, some time off before he goes into another fight again. And that's my last thought about that. You know, you gotta give it to the Gottis, the Wards, the Castillos, the Corrales, the Barreras, the Morales. You gotta give them, those men, a lot of respect. But at the same time, you know, people that don't have their career of success, fighters that do it all the time, sometimes they'll make a success out of their career because they always go to war and they think that's the only way to fight.
All right, George. Appreciate your insight on boxing as we always do.
Yes, thank you.
And we'll be here next week again, speaking right before the Kovalev Ward fight.
Oh, no.
And we'll analyze that one a little bit more.
All right then.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You too. Take care.